What is up, people? Miles here with Keep the Change, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Now, usually on the channel, we talk about stocks, and I review them twice a week, every Tuesday and every Friday, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Now, it's the holidays, okay? I wanted to come at you with something a little lighter, a little more casual, kind of like a Nate O'Brien video. We're just going to be talking here, no crazy edits, no super in-depth analysis, just me giving some advice to you. Now, these are just 5 ways that are helping me to financial freedom, but obviously everyone's different. And also, these tips aren't going to get you there in like a day, okay? It's going to take time, it takes consistency. But I can promise you that each of these little tips have helped me tremendously in my financial goals. So make sure to stay around, and if you like the video, go ahead and click that like button for me. It means the world. But let's not waste any time, guys. Let's jump right into it. Let's talk about number 1 here, and that's having a side income / side hustle. Now, if you want to be financially free, you're obviously going to need a lot of money, okay? That goes without saying. It's super obvious. But I see a lot of my friends just kind of go down this path where they only see one income stream, and in my opinion, that's a wasted opportunity, just based on the fact I have so many different friends with so many different skill sets, and I feel like they could really utilize their skills in order to kind of make some extra income. For example, me, I've been doing Upwork, which is just like side jobs. I do kind of filming stuff on the side, right? Because hey, I do it for free anyways, I might as well get paid. Now, this isn't me saying that you have to turn every hobby or pastime you have into something monetary, okay? Sometimes you can just do something for the love of it. However, I am saying if you can do both at the same time, that's a win-win. And at the end of the day, the richest people in the world don't have just one income stream, right? They have a ton of them. They have dozens, multiple. I'm not saying you have to have millions of different streams. I'm just saying you got to have maybe 2, maybe 3. Having more than just one income stream is going to massively speed up the process of you getting richer and getting to financial freedom. And I personally think as you get more income streams starting, they just get easier and easier. They start compounding, and they all kind of interlink and help each other. Now, the second path to financial freedom, in my opinion, is something that not everyone deals with. However, a lot of people out there do deal with it. It's a real thing, and that would be addiction, okay? I'm talking about getting sober. You may be asking yourself financially, what's the benefits of getting sober? I mean, what does that really matter? And I can tell you from firsthand experience, I used to get my checks and just go and spend it on substances and be reckless and just not know what to do with myself. And this hurt me emotionally, mentally, physically, and not to mention financially, right? Because every week I'm putting in money towards something that's not even good for me. And it's kind of a weird trickling effect, right? Because honestly, the more I was on these substances, the less I wanted to work, which in turn got me less money. The more drained I was, the more depressed I was, the more I just didn't really enjoy my life. And obviously, what's financial freedom if you can't even enjoy it? Now, I'm not saying I'm like 100% sober, okay? I still have a drink here and there, but I've cut it down by like 90, 95%, and I feel way better, okay? I have more money than I know what to do with, and I didn't even realize how much of a hole it was actually taking up in my own pocket. Cutting that out of my life just gave me more of a drive to actually work and be passionate again. So that's something that's really motivating, and then helps me along my financial journey. Now, obviously, not everyone's going to struggle with this, but addiction kind of differs between people, right? You might be addicted to video games or something. You spend like $60 a week on video games and you play it all day. Now, this by itself isn't a bad action. However, the fact that it compounds, it kind of works against you. It's opportunity cost. What else could you have been doing while you were playing that video game or using that substance? And more importantly, where could your money have gone, right? I mean, could you have invested it? Could you have saved it? Maybe put it towards a new business? These are all important things to think about. My third tip is quite literally the simplest tip in the book, and that would be to save more money. I know it seems obvious, right? I mean, you don't have to be a financial advisor or a finance guru to realize that saving money is going to get you on a path towards financial freedom. But you would be surprised how common sense is really not that common, and I fall victim to this. I've seen my friends fall victim to this. It's as if people get their check, and instead of thinking, how much of this should I save, it's what should I buy right now? What can I buy with this? And I understand this firsthand, okay? Back when I worked at an ice cream shop in 2016, when I was like 16 years old, okay, the first thing that I did with my checks was buy Gucci. And instead of saving my money for a rainy day, I would just go out and buy whatever frivolous item I was feeling at that moment. And that is no way to live, guys. At some point, your car might break down, you might have a health issue, you might have to take your pet to the vet or something. I mean, these things happen, and more often than you would think. Living paycheck to paycheck and just hoping that these things don't pop up, when they do, you're going to be financially ruined, okay? You're going to get into debt. And I can tell you one thing, that you do not want debt if you're trying to be financially free, right? We want to be free of debt. We want to be free of stress. Now, as much as I love saving money and seeing my savings account go up, okay, savings can only do you so much. And that that's because of a little thing called inflation. And all inflation is, in its simplest terms, is basically the fact that your money is worth less every year. So let's say I buy a candy bar today, it's worth $1. The next year, I'm gonna have to pay $1.02 for that same candy bar. I'm paying more money, even though I'm getting the same thing, which in turn makes my dollars less valuable, right? So over the course of time, they're gonna be way less valuable than they were today. So the reason that savings is good to an extent is that I do need money in the short term in case an emergency pops up. But let's face it, that 0.1% interest, if that, is not going to cut it over the course of 10 years, okay? Because inflation is 2% every year, meaning I'm losing value every year that I put my money away in a savings account. And although I do need some, I can't put all my money there. So what is next? Where do I go from here? Now, that point, tip number 4, which is probably my favorite, and if you're going to take one thing from this video, take this one. And that would be to invest. And the time is now. Seriously, I talk to so many people every day who are like, yeah, I'm going to invest, I'm going to do it, but they just procrastinate and they never get it done. Meanwhile, the stock market is going up and it goes up 7% on average every year. Obviously, some years it's going to go down, some years it's going to go even higher, but overall, you're going to get an average of 7% per year. So as people are holding on to their money, watching it lose value due to inflation, I'm actually earning money on my investments and making my money grow. If you want to be financially free, I mean, this is basically the ultimate shortcut. So make investments as soon as you can. And the reason you need to do that is because of compound interest. Every time your money grows on top of that, you get dividends on top of that. It just goes haywire towards the end. For example, if you look at Warren Buffett and his wealth, you see that the majority of his wealth actually came in the last years of his life, because that's really the power of investing, and specifically compound interest is the fact that over time you can bet that you're going to get way richer. In the next week it might not happen, next month it might not happen, maybe not even the next year, but I can guarantee you, if you have your money in stocks over the next 50 years, you will definitely come out super ahead, probably a millionaire. And if you're in the tens of millions, you have reached financial freedom, okay? Let's just put it how it is, right? If you're a multi-millionaire, you can do whatever you want. That's FU money. Now, my last piece of advice for financial freedom is to open up a credit card, okay? And this is going to accomplish a couple of things. First off, you're going to build a credit history, which is extremely important and crucial in the real world. If you're trying to go get a car and you want a good loan, they look at your credit score. If you're trying to go get an apartment, they look at your credit score. If you're trying to get a house, they look at your credit score, guys. This comes in handy a lot. And if you want to get into something like real estate investing, or maybe you want to flip cars even though I don't really support that, but let's say you do, okay? You can get better interest rates if you have a better credit score. So this pays off in the long run. Now, the second thing this does is you actually get points for using a credit card. You get cash back. You get credit card points, okay? These are all super useful tools, because every time I go to dinner with my friends and they use a debit card and I use a credit card, I actually get 1% cash back. So it's like I'm paying 99% of the actual price while they're paying 100. Now, it may seem like small and insignificant in the moment, right? If I pay $100, I'm only going to get $1 back, right? Who even cares about that? But at the end of the day, you got to remember the compound effect. Those small little actions actually have big effects in the end. Obviously, over the course of a week, spending $100, you're not going to see that great of a return, but think of how many times you spent $100 in your life, and think about how much cash back you missed out on without a credit card. These are all just things to keep in mind for financial freedom, and if you don't have a credit card right now, I'll leave a link in the description, okay? You can go and sign up for a Discover credit card. You'll get $50, I'll get $50, we're both winners. Now, I know the title of the video is probably like 5 ways to financial freedom or something clickbaity like that, but I'll give you a 6th one for free, okay? And this one's kind of just a weird one, but I like it. And that would be, if you're a teenager and you're working minimum wage jobs, a really easy way to save money, in my opinion, is to go work at like a food restaurant or a fast food chain or something of that sort. Mainly because my biggest expense as a teenager is actually food. So, I mean, the fact that I work at Domino's, I can just eat pizza whenever I want. Now, I hate pizza. At the same time, I do like free food. And this will often save me the money and the trip to a restaurant or a store and the time, frankly. That was just a stupid little free one for you guys. Now, I know this was sort of a different video, right? Kind of basic personal finance type stuff. People subscribe to the channel for stocks. We'll get to the stocks, okay? I promise next week is going to be crazy. But with all that being said, you guys, I appreciate you so much for watching. It means the world to me, and I love you.